Down in the valley where the girls get naked. If you throwing bands, then you know she gonna take it. 1, 2, break 'em. 3, 4, rake 'em. What's up, y'all? This is Ty, and that is the theme song to, well, part of the theme song to P.Valley, which comes on Stars, I believe, every Sunday. Now, P.Valley, this show is a hot, hot show. What is P.Valley? P.Valley is a show that takes place in the Mississippi Delta in a strip club called The Pink, and it's about the lives of these very colorful and interesting characters and their ups and downs, and we're watching them as they deal with life and how they're going to handle life and what are they going to do if this strip club closes. Now, you know, you got those folks out there, oh, watching the show about strippers and no, don't do that. Don't do that. Let me tell you, because I had a friend that was like, the strippers and this and that. Listen, there's a stigma on strip. There's a stigma that's very hypocritical because everybody likes the booty and the shaking and the But then you want to judge these girls and call them a hoe and a this and a that and a third and just put them in a box. But what I like about this show is that they are breaking that and kind of showing you what goes on behind the scenes and the skills that these young ladies have. Do you know, I believe it was the first episode or one of those episodes, they climbed up that pole. That pole went all the way up to the ceiling, and they showed the girl climb up there, legs open, and she looked and she dropped down. Dropped down and landed, boom, landed in a split. Can you do that? Can you do that? That's a skill. These women are acrobats. These women are athletes. That is a skill. Y'all be trying to play them, but that is a skill. Now, I know, yes, you know, because when I watched the show, I was like, booty, 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 booty everywhere. These women are gorgeous, but they are skilled. I'm like, who are the stunt doubles that's doing all? Where they get these? The skill. And they're fine. They all fine, but the skill is the skill. Now, yes, there's a lot of ratchetness going on too, but what I like about the show is that it's not one-dimensional. It shows that these women are complex. It shows that this is somebody's sister, this is somebody's mother, this is somebody's daughter. These are people with career goals and things like that. And so that's what I like about it. And the show was created by a woman, Miss Katori Hall, who, I don't know if you guys know, she is an awesome playwright. She also created, if I'm not mistaken, The Mountaintop. And that was a really good play. And I'm hearing that P.Valley was also a play. And so that means that this show is an adaptation of that. So I'm going to start on episode 5. Just gave you that little rundown right there. But I'm going to start on episode 5 in my review, because I should have been reviewing this before, but a brother was busy. I got a lot going on. So let's start with Mercedes. Mercedes is this, she's fine. I'm going to be saying that throughout this whole review. This one's fine, that one's fine. Mercedes is fine. And so she's the OG, the legend of the club. She's ready to hang it up. She's got her money. She has a plan to open up a gym and teach this majorette stuff, because on the side she's teaching the young girls how to do the cheerleading and all that. And you know what it reminded me of? There was a reality show that my niece used to watch of some girl, I think it was Bring It On or something like that, where it was a woman there who was built like that, and she used to teach young girls, and it was on one of those channels. But that's who she reminds me of for some reason. That whole thing with her teaching young girls and then being a former dancer, because I believe the girl from Bring It that's kind of did that. So I was like, I wonder if that character is inspired by her. I don't know the lady's name, but anyway, Mercedes is this OG. She wants to, you know, open this gym, teach girls majorette, and then we learn that it's because one of the girls is her daughter, and you know, she's trying to pick her life up, clean it up or whatever. She has this mother, Miss Patrice, who is saved and sanctified. She loved the Lord. He heard her cry, and she's very judgmental. She does not approve of Mercedes dancing in this nightclub. She does not approve of Uncle Clifford and all that, but she take the money though. She takes Patrice. Is very hypocritical and very judgmental, but like I said, she takes that money. She does not approve of her daughter working at the Pink at all. She doesn't approve of Uncle Clifford or any of those things. But Mercedes has a plan. Mercedes wants to start a new life. She wants to get this gym going and just, perhaps try to gain custody of her daughter and things like that. So we see that she's ready to buy it. She has the money. She's been giving the money to her mother. Now her mother, like I said, she's a holy roller preacher and all that. She wants to be head preacher at her church or whatever, but because of sexism, the male pastor there is like, woman, stay in your place. And so he doesn't want her to do any preaching or anything like that. So she has her ambitions. Now she's supposed to meet up with Mercedes. This is Mercedes' final night. Everybody's coming to see this, whatever. She's supposed to meet up with Mercedes. And what she does, she's supposed to meet up with her to give her money so she can put a down payment on the place so she can open this gym, whatever. And what does the mother do? The mother takes the money and gives it a down payment on a church for her church. And her and Mercedes get into this big fight. So that was what happened, I think, in the 4th episode. They get in this big fight and they both in jail. So this episode picks up there. Episode 5 picks up with Mercedes and her mama in jail. And then we go on to, let's move on to Uncle Clifford. Uncle Clifford is this character is outrageous. He is this big, manly, yet he identifies as a woman because he's a drag queen, I guess, right? He's a drag queen, but he's also the mother of the club, and he mothers all these young ladies, and they all respect him. Now, there's a lot of people who don't respect him and think they call him, he identifies as a woman, so you hear people calling Uncle Clifford she, but then there's some people that call him an it and a thing and a this and a that. So he's having money troubles. He's having issues with the club. He's behind on the bills. And so they want to take this club from him. So in this episode, we see that there's an eviction notice saying that, they foreclosure notice. I'm sorry, foreclosure. The club is going to close in 14 days and there's an auction, all that dirty, underhanded stuff. And Uncle Clifford is like not pleased with that at all. So now he faints because he's like distraught, whatever. Meanwhile, because Mercedes is in jail, the beautiful, sexy, fine Mississippi took her place. So Mississippi did her little tricks up and down on the pole, and now she's going viral. Her video, somebody recorded, and her video is going viral. So she's gassed up. She's happy about that going viral. And while that's happening, they learn that Mercedes is in jail. And as they learn that Mercedes is in jail. Meanwhile, there's this woman who's newly divorced, she's hurt and distraught. She's in the club, toe up, just throwing money away, and she's with Gidget, and I forgot the other girl's name, and they're trying to console her. Then she passes out, and when she passes out, she has this stack of money. They're like, let's get this stack. So they kind of took her money. But now we find out that they want to they're trying to get Mercedes out of jail. They want to bail her out. When they go to try to bail her out, they realize, I think it was about, they needed, was it 2,000? And then it jumped to 5,000. Anyway, it increased by the time they got there. Meanwhile, in the jail, great scene in the jail, because they end up putting Mercedes in the same cell with her mother, who, this whole thing had me conflicted here, because while I think the mother is disgusting and low down and dirty, who beats up their own mother? I was like, you beat up your mother. And when they got in the jail with each other in the cell, she was beating her mother up again. I mean, she was beating her mother up, and then, people were taking sides. It was another old lady. She's like, that's your mother? These young girls ain't got no respect. But then when they found out what her mother did, I like those scenes, that whole jail scene when we found out what her mother did to her and all of that stuff. I thought that was well acted and well put together, and those scenes were well put together. And, people were taking sides. And that same young lady who was drunk in the club and passed out, she ends up in jail because she's driving drunk or whatever. And she wakes up and she sees Mercedes. She's like, oh, you're Mercedes. I was coming for your last day. And just that whole dialogue and relationship between the mother and daughter is played out in the jail scene in front of all these people. And then the mother does all this theatric preaching and gospel singing, and she seems to win over the other inmates. And I'm like, okay, she's doing that. All right, cool. I'm still a little disgusted with her because I'm like, you didn't have to do that. Or you could have at least talked to Brandy, and maybe y'all could have come to a compromise. Like maybe, that the space, y'all could have shared the space. You could have said, well, when you're not doing the gym thing, I could hold church service or something in there. But you just don't take people's money like that. That's whack. That's corny. That's trash. But Mercedes, why are you beating up your mama? But then we're learning about each of them, and then her mother was telling, the Lord told me to do this and this. You know how they get all dramatic. The Lord told me to steal your money, girl. The Lord told me to do it and open this church and all this. And she was saying, will you please forgive me? And it looked like a scene. It looked like Mercedes was going to forgive her. And she reached down. And I'm like, oh, she's going to forgive her? And she said, you're dead to me. I was like, can't afford her right there. So she's not going to forgive her mother. But now we got to see how she's going to cope. Because her whole plan was to take that money, open that gym, and move on. Like, what's going to happen now? Because she was trying to do these things so she can get her daughter back as well, which that's a whole nother story. Like I said, there's layers to these characters. There's layers to these characters. Uncle Clifford comes down there, and he sees her, and we see that Uncle Clifford and Miss Patrice don't get along, but he's like very mothering to, well, she is like very mothering to Mercedes. And now Mercedes tells Uncle Clifford, don't bail me out. Let me stay up in here. You're behind on with the club. You let me stay in here. You're behind. Meanwhile, the other girls decide they're going to try to go and bail Mercedes out. But like I said, they don't have enough money. And I believe is that Gidget? I think was the only one that stayed, and they called Autumn Night. And it was looking bleak, but then I like this. Autumn Night, and I hope I'm saying her name right. Autumn Night ended up, because she has money, and she has all this money and stacked up whatever. She ends up bailing out because the bail increased. She ends up bailing out Mercedes, and these two are finally like bonding now. They're kind of relating to each other, and we learn a little bit more about what it is that Autumn's doing, because Autumn got all this money stacked up, and she don't really need to be stripping. So it's like, why? Mercedes even says to her, why are you even here stripping? And she said, it's because I like to do it. She likes to do it. That's why she's there. So they have this bond, and then Autumn is teaching her how to do whatever this little scam is. So we're going to see that how they deal with each other after that. I thought that was very interesting. Now, and I like that they're bonding. I like that. I'm really enjoying this show. Let's move on to Mississippi. Mississippi is another fine one who she filled in and did the main event spot when Mercedes was in jail. So she's blowing up, and she's also have been being abused. And we finally get to see who I'm assuming is the dude that's been beating on her. And it was this white guy. This is why you can't, I was expecting them to have, that's why I like this show. They defy the stereotypes, because I was expecting to be this big, thuggish dude or whatever. And it was this he looked corny, and it was like, see, I like how they're doing that. They're because you can't always stereotype. He was a white dude who looks, but I saw a sinister look in him, but he looked a little harmless, but I could tell in that conversation between them, and he was like, you look beautiful, and you're doing good, and I saw your dance, that was nice. But he looked like, I could tell he looked like he wanted to hit her or something, but he can't do that with the bouncer named Diamond sitting right there, because he'll get hurt. But this is what I don't understand. If he is the father of this child, why is he bringing the child to the strip club for her to watch? Why don't he just stay and watch the child? Like, there's no one else that can watch this child? And he's just, I guess we're going to get more in the next episode with him, but I thought all of that was very interesting. I was like, wow. And I hope she don't keep letting this man beat on her. And I hope that Diamond takes care of him, because that's that. But I was like, wow, that's him? And then we have the issues with Uncle Clifford and the Pink, where we know that crooked mayor and that lawyer dude, they're trying to get the pink from up under him so that they can get this casino going. So Uncle Clifford goes over to the barbershop where the mayor is, and he tells him, he said, oh, you think I don't know about your little plans and all that? And he said, how about, did you let these people know here that you're shortchanging them? You're giving them less. You're going to pay them less than what you're going to pay the white boys across town. So he's stirring up things right there. And the mayor is saying all types of derogatory things towards him, you know, homophobic things and stuff like that. Just craziness. Speaking of, Uncle Clifford and this local rapper, Lil Murda, have a relationship going on. Now, Lil Murda's this thuggy. He's this, you know, street thuggy, but apparently he's gay. He done got open off of Uncle Clifford, and he wants to take Uncle Clifford out and do this and that and the third and all this other good stuff. And you don't usually see stuff. Well, I don't usually see stuff like this on television. And I was like, okay, this is, And Uncle Clifford is telling him, like, where you going to take me? With all this homophobia and stuff going on, where are you going to take me? We can't be together, like, publicly or whatever. And they start kissing or whatever. And Mississippi, I believe it was Mississippi, kind of caught them kissing. It was like, oh, you know. So that was interesting to see how they're going to handle that in the next episode. I think I have covered everything in this episode. I enjoyed it. Like I've been enjoying this entire season. I think the show is great. Like I said, it's so complex. There's so many colorful characters. There's so much. They touch on so many things: sexism, colorism, you know, underhanded crime. You know, just the politics of everything. They touch on all of that so well. And so I'm looking forward to the next episode. And I believe I'm gonna be reviewing this until the season ends. And I believe there's only 8 episodes in the season. Tell me your thoughts if you've watched the show or you plan on watching the show. What you thought about the episode? I thought it was great. I think the show is great, and I cannot wait for the next episode. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. I'm out.